My bully supervisor constantly belittled me and forced me to turn on my camera during my cancer treatment. So I showed her exactly what happens when you mess with me. My supervisor for the ambassador program, Miss Mary, has spent the majority of our time together belittling me. She follows every rule to the letter and leaves no room for collaboration or discussion. As an example, we use Microsoft Teams for communication, and she has us clock in and out in a group of 20 people by saying I'm here and I'm leaving. So every day you have to scroll through dozens of messages to find anything of import and listen to notification sounds every time someone so much as takes a lunch break. I suggested using the time clock function on Teams and even offered to set it up for us, and was told that I was deliberately undermining her position. Another quick example is her vehemence when I told her I didn't have any social media to advertise the college. She was certain I was lying and went so far as to ask the other ambassadors to try and find me. They didn't because there's nothing to find. Crazy concept. I've challenged her at a couple of junctures, but ultimately realized I was fighting a losing battle, and I'd be better off keeping my head down. Fast forward to 4 days ago, there was a mandatory virtual event in 3 days where the dean of the college would talk to the ambassadors like me, as well as live stream the event to the college's website and YouTube page. Miss Mary sent out a message that students must have their cameras on and phones off. Repeat, phones off, cameras on. I followed up the same day saying, Miss Mary, unfortunately, I will be at a doctor's appointment at this time and will be unable to turn my camera on during the event. No response. I sent another email to follow up and still no response. I was diagnosed with a rare ovarian cancer at the beginning of this year. I am a private person to the extent that I have dated people for years without telling my parents, so you best believe random coworkers and bosses are unaware of my medical history. The day of the event rolls around. I directly message her through Microsoft Teams 10 minutes before. I see that she's seen the message with a read receipt and she said nothing. Now, video chat starts and several students join the session with their cameras on. Then the dean. He gets halfway through introducing himself and Miss Mary interrupts him as he takes a brief pause and says, "Excuse me, could we please have all of the students turn their cameras on?" I say nothing but put a quick message I already had typed in anticipation in the group chat. Miss Mary, I have a private situation that bars me from turning on my camera. I have contacted you individually. Not but a few seconds after I send it, I get called out by name, and I respond audibly, Miss Mary, I cannot turn on my camera at this time. She responds, expectations were clear, and you were told multiple times about this. Every other student here managed to do it, and I expect the same out of you. I told one of my nurses, Amy, about this situation beforehand. She joked that if I was told to turn my camera on, I should really play up my illness. In any other situation, I would have been entirely opposed, but sweet revenge was in sight. I set my laptop back a bit further from myself on my legs, so you could see the entirety of me in my hospital regalia. Teams will display the person currently talking as the largest image in chat. Everyone had their audio off except me, the dean, and Miss Mary, so when I turned my camera on, I was displayed as the EKG loudly thrummed away. Silence. I said, I asked Miss Mary through email and Teams if I could opt out of having my camera on, but she insisted. I waited a beat to see if anyone would say anything, and then continued with my special vocal blend of melodramatic gratitude and illness-laden shakiness. Virtual engagement is so important for this new era of learning. I can see why having the camera on is important, though I was hoping I might be granted an exception. The dean said, Miss Rachel, you are more than welcome to turn your camera off. I am so sorry for the misunderstanding. I responded with, thank you so much for making a special exception for me. It's been a difficult week, but I feel grateful to be here. Then, 2 people leave the call. One was Miss Mary and the other was Anthony, who is Miss Mary's boss. I didn't know he'd be there. Haven't heard from either of them yet, but I'm awaiting a follow-up with anticipation. I am here and alive. I hospital. And above all, this stupid disease won't stop me from putting a bully in their goddamned place.